a new fan, John is his name, and he writes a lot here. So
a new fan of ours.
Yeah, a new fan of ours, not of boxing, I guess not. But he writes, "Hey guys, I just recently came across several of your shows. I was really impressed. I have been a big boxing fan for as long as I can remember, and I have been watching I've been watching all the boxing shows for as long as I remember. But you have to be the most honest guys I've seen in a long while.
Hopefully he doesn't have amnesia.
Yeah. I like the fact that you tell it like it is and don't pull any punches. Plus the fact that you guys are very knowledgeable doesn't hurt either. This all brings me to my question. I just watched your show on Margarito and I agree with almost everything you said. But when I look at the ESPN pound-for-pound rankings, I see comments like this. Quote, what is Mayweather's excuse now for ducking Margarito? What will it take for a top fighter to get in the ring with this man? Margarito, meaning. He has a title. He has a fan-friendly style. He will fight for relatively short money. Yeah, he better. He brings a Mexican crowd. Well, for one thing, he brings a Mexican crowd. He doesn't bring shit. He sold about 20,000 views for that fight against Gomez on pay-per-view, which had a great undercard to it. So there was no selling there as far as the Mexican crowd or any crowd, really. I unfortunately bought it.
That's Bob Arum's little spin. This sounds like Bob Arum's PR guy.
That's exactly what it is.
Top-ranked PR guy. That's all this shit is. That they're feeding to ESPN, and ESPN is feeding their mouthpiece.
They're soaking it up.
That's what it is.
Yeah, and he has a title. Yes, he does have a title.
And they're buying into the hype. Just like a lot of people are buying into the hype.
Yeah.
That's what this amounts to. ESPN, they buy into hype all the time. This is nothing different, nothing new.
What is Mayweather's excuse now for ducking Margarito? It says he needs no excuse because he's not ducking him.
Think about it. This is the same. This is Brian Kinney, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Brian Kinney, the same guy. I like Brian Kinney. Don't get me wrong, but this is the same guy that says Carlos Baldomir. He basically is saying Carlos Baldomir is better than Floyd Mayweather. I don't think he believes that Mayweather would lose to him.
He doesn't.
But he
just by the belts and the rankings,
through the belts,
whatever.
He said, which Baldomir has a technical win
over
Judah, but come on.
Yeah.
There's something called common sense. Yeah. We all have it, and anyone that likes this show, I believe, has some common sense.
Definitely.
And Carlos Baldomir.
And
good fighter. Not saying he's not a good fighter, but come on, compared to Floyd Mayweather,
no, he gets torn apart easily. And Brian Kinney also had the nerve to say Mayweather wasn't fighting for the real welterweight championship when he fought against Judah, because Judah lost to Baldomir. Although
you want to say that, but don't insult the guy on your
and anyway,
the way he did against such a great
fighter in Mayweather.
Hasn't done anything, hasn't lost anybody.
And
it wasn't his fault that the judges robbed Judah.
Right. And this is the same network that Kenny's on, same guy that called Kermit Cintron versus Antonio Margarito a world title fight, a real welterweight title fight. Same network that's put on a ton of bogus title fights and called them real titles. So,
and
take that for what that is.
So they play favorites, just
definitely.
like everyone else.
And they play it to the extreme.
But they try to pretend they're objective. They're not objective.
Not, so don't fall for that. What will it take for a top fighter to get in the ring with this man? Well, a lot of people are trying to get in the ring with this man.
What will it take? I don't know.
For him to get in the ring with them.
For a top fighter to fight him? They have to sneak in and pretend they're not a top fighter.
Obviously, because he won't take them on, as you can
Someone
tell.
like Paul Williams or Josh Clottey or someone like that should put on a mustache and say he's Mark Suarez.
Yeah.
Then I don't know if Mark Suarez has a mustache. You don't either, probably. Who the hell is Mark Suarez?
I wouldn't think anybody knows. But,
Margarito would. He knows him.
He would want to fight him, I'm sure.
Or get your hair looking like mine was recently with the receding ass hairline. Say you're what was that guy, Manuel Gomez?
Yeah.
Say you're him, and you want a rematch.
That's what Margarito would take it. Yeah.
That's what it's going to take to get a match with Margarito. Then he shows up. I don't know. He might shed himself with fear.
Yeah. So.
And Yeah, I don't know. Or it might not even be Margarito if people want to say Margarito isn't ducking anyone, whatever.
Yeah.
His promoter isn't letting him fight, if you want to say.
Okay,
The point is
whatever.
he's not fighting.
He's not fighting, so if he really wanted the fights, whether his promoter did or not, he would make the promoter get the fight.
He would be saying it.
You know, Main Events didn't want Gaddy to fight Mayweather. Gaddy didn't either really want to fight him, but he eventually did at least, which is more than Margarito's doing right now. So anyway, this guy writes, I saw your list of the guys that Margarito has ducked, and it was really eye-opening. Well, good. Glad it helped you with that.
Glad it's helping people.
Yep,
Glad people
definitely.
are seeing the truth.
Yeah, so keep watching.
Floyd Mayweather, the truth.
Yeah,
Remember that.
definitely. And this...
Boxing for real, the truth.
Yeah.
Iron truth.
Iron truth, absolutely. And this is another question. BX Porter Rock 84.
Quite a name.
Yep, and he writes, I just want to know your opinion on Miguel Cotto. Do you think, as I do, that he is the next Puerto Rican star? I feel that Top Rank is protecting him too much. Alright, well, let's answer that first.
He is the current Puerto Rican star. He's not the next Puerto Rican star. He's already there.
Yeah,
he's already the star.
There. He's
the next Puerto Rican star might be Carlos Quintana, possibly.
Possibly. Luis Collazo is somewhat considered Puerto Rican, although he's mainly people know him from being from New York more than anything, I guess.
Especially people in Boston, but that's another story.
Yeah, as you saw with the Hatton fight, but anyway. Yeah, he's definitely the Puerto Rican star right now, the main guy there. He's a superstar in boxing, period, right now. So I feel that Top Rank is protecting him too much. I don't really think that because he's only had 26, 27 fights.
He just fought Paulie Malignaggi. He fought Muhammad Abdullayev, both undefeated at the time.
Yeah.
Both dangerous fights. Wait, Muhammad Abdullayev...
He did have one loss, but it was a bullshit loss.
It was a bullshit loss to
Emmanuel Cotto, yeah. But...
he's
fought, like we said earlier, he has about 10 to 12 good fighters on his resume, so I don't think they're protecting him. I think he's moving along perfectly, really. So I disagree with that. But anyway, he goes on. For him to make a big name for himself, I feel he should unify the belts at 140, then move up.
He can't make the weight anymore.
Obviously
he's been saying that he, even against Malignaggi, he looked a little sluggish.
Yeah.
And he's ready to go up. He's been ready to go up to 147.
And
truthfully.
he'll feel more comfortable, be more powerful, be better, really, in every way.
And no one needs to drain themselves like that.
So
don't do it.
Yeah, and he's going to beat a lot of guys at 147.
If you can't fight guys your own size, you don't need to be in there.
Right. So this will help
move
him.
on up.
And this will be better for him. There's bigger fights at 147 anyway, by far.
Yeah.
So
more money there.
Definitely.
140 has become the barren. It was the hotbed years ago, but now
it's 147 because these guys have been moving up. So
guys have been moving up. Guys have been
falling down from 154.
And other guys have been popping up at 147. Just
so, Julio Quintana,
Julio Quintana, Collazo,
yeah. So
Paul Williams.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's the best division
Carlos
in boxing.
There.
Yeah, he came out of nowhere. But anyway, he writes, Cotto is obviously having a lot of trouble making 140. Do you guys agree with my statements? Well, okay, we just answered all that, I guess. And he also writes, P.S. the vids on YouTube are hot. Keep it up.
They are hot. People are watching.
Yeah.
We will keep it up.
Definitely. And this is the last question, I guess, coming from Clayton Stokey. He writes, keep up the good work. I enjoy your show. My question for you is, as I'm from the UK, what do you think of the fighters coming out of the UK at this time? Well, yeah.
No, I mean, Amir Khan, there's some hype about him. Still need to see more of him.
Yeah, they need to show
him here, get some exposure. I've seen
2 or 3.
I've seen at least 2 of his fights. Maybe downloaded a third one. I don't.
I saw all the amateur fights. Well, not all the amateur fights. All the 2004 Summer Olympic amateur fights he had.
They compare him to Hamed.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's I guess, but He's not quite as unorthodox as
No,
I'm
not
that
as,
far.
definitely not. He's more more of a technical, basic fighter, but
I
definitely.
think they're making that comparison more because of his skin tone than anything personally. But anyhow, he's still a good fighter.
Definitely.
Looks a good prospect at least.
So somebody to keep your eyes on. One of the best
Junior-
prospects.
Junior Witter.
He's a very good fighter. Only one loss still to Judah. Zab Judah, who made him run from him.
Undefeated since that.
Yep.
Undefeated before that.
Yep, and he had about 15 knockouts in a row. He's had like 18, 19
And
wins
they need
in a
to
row.
be showing him. He
Yeah.
was a good fighter.
Definitely, and he's fighting DeMarcus Corley, and we'll
they're
see.
They're needing people at 140 now.
Yep.
Vivian Harris is there.
Yeah,
Junior
Molly
Witter.
Najee, Witter, Corley.
These guys, get them together.
Yeah, and they are
140 can
fighting.
still be a good division.
Witter and Corley are fighting in September, so hopefully.
Castillo will probably be joining you soon.
Yeah. So Witter should beat him, and if he can, then that'll be his best win by far. Of
These
course.
others, all these we don't necessarily like or dislike. We're just going over them.
Yeah.
David Hay, decent
Never seen
cruiserweight.
him, so.
We'll see what happens with him once they hopefully.
He does
show
have
us.
one loss, I think, by
Yeah,
knockout.
yeah, he does have a loss.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't know what happened there. Don't have a way of knowing besides looking at a record right now.
Yeah. So, Joe Calzaghe. Well, of course, he's undefeated. Proved himself better than I thought he was against
And
Jeff Lacey.
He had kind of already proven himself anyhow with wins with like
Omar Shika.
Chris Eubank.
Beat Eubank.
Although Eubank did take the fight on a few days' notice.
Yeah.
And I think a prime Eubank would have beat the shit out of him.
Definitely.
Would have wanted him to.
And Calzaghe has some good wins, so he did beat Jeff Lacey very convincingly, of course.
Extremely convincingly, and I picked
I was
Lacey
shocked.
to
Oh,
beat
yeah.
the hell out of him.
I picked Lacey to knock him out easily, and I was wrong. But anyway,
And it was fought on neutral ground.
yeah, because Calzaghe.
It's from Wales instead
Yeah,
of
and they didn't
England.
fight in Wales, of course, so it wasn't in Calzaghe's hometown.
I know you over in the UK, some of you might see that way. I don't really see how. Joe Calzaghe, good fighter, he's proven himself. We'll see what he keeps doing from here on in.
Yeah, possibly going to fight Roy Jones sometime soon. You all know what we think there. Jones knocks him out, so.
But I still don't like him. I like
Yeah.
Jeff Lacey, and he beat him, so
Definitely.
I'm mad at him for that.
Obviously.
But
And for stuff he said about Mike Tyson about 5 years
that one
ago.
really, and he kissed guys on the lips. I saw it.
So, okay.
In the ring, he did that. I'm
Yep,
serious.
sure
In the
did.
ring, after fights.
Yeah.
Some red-headed, freckled fag. Okay.
Anyway, John Duddy. John Duddy is a good fighter, up-and-coming prospect. He's very explosive. I actually like him as a fighter, so he's going places, I think. He's at 160. There's room for him there, so, yeah.
We'll see what happens with him. He's looked
Impressive.
exciting so far.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when he steps up. Boxing for real. Email.com. Email us. See you.